Ar ran ei hydfeirniaid, yr athro Gwyn Thomas a'r athro Derek Llwyd Morgan, hoffwn diolch am y fraint gael bod ynglyn â'r wobr gyffroes hon a weinyddir yn flynyddol gan yr Academi. Calandig i'r trio honno oedd gweld fod cynifer y fathau gwahanol o gyfrolau yn cyrraedd y brig eleni. Heb os mae'r cyfoeth amrywiaeth hwn sy'n bodoli yn ein gweisg yng Nghymru yn wir achos dathlu. By'r broses o drafod y cyfrolau yn un ddifyr dros ben. Dadlau ynghylch y lleiafrif wnaeth trio honno, ac roedd cytundeb o'r cychwyn ynghylch y mwyafrif o'r llyfrau a fyddai'n rhoi i ni 10 llyfr ar gyfer y rhestr. Wrth reswm, pan fyddai gwahaniaeth barn yn codi, byddai angen o leiaf ddwy bleidlais o dair ar gyfer pob llyfr yr oedd dadl yn ei gylch. Mae'n dda i ni ddeud y byddai sawl cyfrol arall wedi gallu heiddi ei lle ar y rhestr hir. Fel y byddwch yn disgwyl, roedd yna ystyriaethau amrywiol yn dod i'r amlwg wrth i ni ddewis addethol. Enghraifft arddull yr ysgrifennu. Roedd hynny'n ystyriaeth agodau yn aml. Mor amrywiol fydd cyfrolau cymwys, roedd ein chwilio am awduron oedd yn llwyddo i gynnal safon uchel o sgwennu yn ei dewis faes. Ar brydiau ni trafod brwd rhyngom ynglyn â'r hyn roedd ni'n ei ystyried yn ysgrifennu crefftus. Tra byddai un neu ddau ohonom yn gweld arddull yn farddonol enghraifft, byddai un arall yn gweld elfennau a oedd braidd yn hunan ymwybodol ac ymwthgar. Weithiau fe deimlid bod natur neu swyddogaeth cyfrol braidd yn anelwig, a byddai hynny'n tynnu oddi wrth egni neu bwer y gwaith hwnnw. Ar adegau eraill byddai safon y gwaith yn anwastad, boed hynny o ran cynnwys, naws neu gywirdeb ieithyddol. Felly, down at y deg. Yn sicr, mae iddyn nhw i gyd i'r rhagoriaethau amlwg, a dawn mynegiant ydy un o'r rhagoriaethau hynny. Yn ogystal, mae'r 10 awdur yn argyhoeddi'r darllenydd o fydoedd penodol, ac ni allwn ni'n tri lain ag edmygu'r modd y cyflwyni'r y bydoedd hynny mewn arddulliau amrywiol a mistrolgar. I grynhoi, mae natur y cyfrolau yn y rhestr hir yn amrywio'n fawr eleni. Mae yma gyfrolau sy'n dangos gwir ddealltwriaeth o'i dewis faes, ac fe geir ynddyn nhw waith ymchwil manwl. Mae yma hefyd gyfrolau sy'n byrlymu a dawn dweud, disgrifio a sirnio plot. Mae'r 10 yn cynnig i ni brofiadau nad anghofiwn yn rhwydd, ac maen nhw hefyd, am amrywiol resyma, yn rhagori. Felly, heb unrhyw drefn o ran rhagoriaeth, dyma restr hir Llyfr Flwyddyn 2009. Yn hon bu afon unwaith gan Aled Jones Williams. Bore newydd gan Myrddin ap Dafydd. Teulu Lord Bach gan Geraint Vaughan Jones. Cynheuaf hanner canrif gan Gwilym Rhys Davies. Petrograd gan William Owen Roberts. Rhagofn Ysbrydion gan J. Tywyn Jones. Portreadau Harry Parry, Iaith y Brain ac Awen Brydd gan Harry Parry. Y Maison de Soleil gan Mared Lewis. Bwystilod Rheibus gan Robin Lewis, a Pentigili gan Hefin Wyn. Llongyfarchiadau i chi gyd. Diolch yn fawr.
I think I can speak for my fellow judges, Tiffany Atkinson and Mike Parker, when I say that judging the English language section of the prize this year was a unique experience. There were over 200 books that were presented to us as possible contenders by Welsh authors and by English authors resident in Wales. And one thing that struck us strongly, I think, was the vibrancy of Welsh publishing in English in this first decade of the 21st century. We were presented with books that covered every conceivable genre, from poetry, fiction, memoirs, biography, academic, historical and social studies, literary studies, local history, offbeat town guides. And within those genres, subgenres such as urban noir in fiction, which still seems to be going strong, science fiction, which hasn't been a very strongly represented genre of fiction, I think, English in Wales. Crime and detective fiction, experimental fiction, alongside very finely crafted, more conventional collections of stories and novels. We were also struck by especially with the larger Welsh publishers, the high level of production standards in 2008. I think there's been a growing awareness amongst publishers about general design, format, covers, and so on, so that many of the books now being published in Wales, compared to, say, 30, 40 years ago, stand up at this level very strongly against the major London publishers, in our opinion. One thing that did surprise us, I think, was the growth in self-publication. And again, due to modern desktop publishing packages, the very sort of high level, generally, of the production values of these self-published books. Self-publishing is obviously a double-edged sword. It's the last resort of those who can't find a publisher, and that's often the case because what that person has written isn't necessarily very good. But there's also an honourable tradition of self-publishing among young, especially experimental avant-garde writers who are perhaps ahead of their time and can't find a publisher because they are not in tune with current literary modes. If, for example, you now had a copy of Ezra Pound's self-published book, A Lume Spento, you'd have a book in your hands worth several £1,000s. And I think as mainstream publishers, perhaps more in England than in Wales, shy more and more away from poetry and from serious fiction, there may be a case for more self-publication of this kind, even though it has all kinds of pitfalls in terms of distribution, getting your books in the shops and so on. But we thought it was an interesting trend in the books published in English in 2008. One thing that we independently came to a conclusion about was that there is a certain problem with this prize, the way the prize is structured, in that we're asked to judge books across a multitude of genres. How do you compare a collection of poems with a novel or a memoir or a biography or a very fine academic historical study? And in a sense, you can't, of course, because each genre has its own conventions, its own aesthetic values, and you're being asked to do the impossible in some ways. And it's something perhaps which the organisers of the prize could consider, at least, that there is this problem which the judges have. Nonetheless, we were contracted to produce a list of 10 of the best books, in our opinion, published in Wales in 2008. And I'm happy to say that when we came to sit down for our final meeting, there was a very high degree of agreement between us about who or which of those 10 books should be. It's my great pleasure to read out that list now, and the books are in alphabetical order. And they are Blood, Etc., a collection of short stories by G. Williams; Grace, Tamar, and Laszlo the Beautiful, a novella by Deborah K. Davis; King Driftwood, a collection of poems by Robert Minhinnick; Long Haul Travellers, poems by Sheena Pugh; Mandeville, a poem sequence by Matthew Francis; Not in These Shoes, poems by Samantha Wynne Floodach; Raymond Williams, A Warrior's Tale, Di Smith's biography of the first half of Raymond Williams' life and career; Remains of a Future City, poems by Zoe Scolding; Submarine, a first novel by Joe Dunthorne; and Tag, a novel by Stephen May. So our warm congratulations to the winning authors, and I hope that being on the long list will help promote the books and promote sales in the shops. Diolch yn fawr iawn.